Nice Gaming just uploaded a video about Ashes of Creation, and in case you don't know who this man is, basically, he used to be one of the biggest Ashes of Creation defenders out there, but like many of them, he got a huge reality check when everything imploded, and now we know that Ashes was a scam from the very beginning. And Steven? Yeah, not that much of a great fellow. So, now Nice Gaming is set on a warpath and he seems to destroy every single ounce of respect he had for Ashes of Creation. And I'm here for it. Now, I haven't watched any of this video. It just came out. So I'm excited to watch it with you guys for the first time. And to be said, don't come after anyone that used to defend this game, guys. I think most of them understand they made a mistake, except for this one guy I covered on, my video. You know what I'm talking about. Nice Gaming was also one of the few that actually was kind towards the other side. He always understood our perspective, and I respect him for it. And I think that we should give him the same respect back, because he earned it.
Ashes of Creation is no more, and as the dust settles, we are only left with the ashes of a project that never truly got created. What was truly the most ambitious upcoming MMORPG came to an abrupt end, resulting in a lot of drama, mystery, questions, loss of jobs, and loss of even more faith in the MMORPG genre. As more and more is revealed, it would seem the tale of Ashes of Creation will go down as one of the biggest stories when it comes to not just Kickstarter MMOs, but one of the biggest stories in gaming overall. So hello gamers, it's nice. I hope all you Ashes refugees are having a nice day. Today we will be discussing the best game never, Ashes of Creation. For those unaware who have been living under a rock, Ashes of Creation has essentially ended very shortly after its debut to Steam Early Access, and is no longer even purchasable on the platform. Those who purchased this product
But it is refundable, so make sure you try and get that refund, because the more money that we take from Steven, the best it is in our interest. Make sure you do that. If you pay for the game, even if you played 40 hours, I think some edge cases can get their money back, so you should always try and apply to it. Apply for a refund right now.
Content creators, the Ashes community, and sadly the 200 plus former employees of developer Intrepid Studios were all scammed and misled by creative director Steven Sharif. Ashes of Creation had an enticing vision that gave many MMO enthusiasts hope, but failed to deliver. So we'll be discussing the vision of the game, its fallout, and a lot of things that have come to light in just weeks after its untimely end. And before I go forward, I just want to preface a couple of things. Just as I stated in my video that I posted when we first learned the news, and in any following livestream discussions I did on this matter, my condolences go out to every former employee of Intrepid Studios that worked on Ashes of Creation. I truly hope each of them find other employment. They were abruptly let go and still haven't received pay, PTO payouts, and they are without insurance.
And they most likely won't see their money ever again, because, at the end of the day, it's just a bunch of rich people doing like legal battles with each other. And most of the developers then don't have any ties to this whatsoever. The legal system doesn't care about them. So I highly doubt they would get compensated or get any severance package whatsoever. But I might be wrong about that. Again, I'm not an expert on the legalities of the issue, but I'm just saying from experience and stuff that I've seen in real life transpire. Yeah, it doesn't look so good, Chief. But at the same time, my hearts do go to them. I know I heard some really dumb comments telling me that the developers were in on it. Like, brother, did you really believe that 250 employees were in cahoots with Steven? Of course that wasn't the case. The man is an egomaniac. Like, no, he's not going to include anyone except immediate family members, which in this case was his husband, right? Which was also an employee inside of the company that apparently, according to what we heard until now, didn't do anything except for financial stuff. So, yeah, I mean, you don't know. I think it was embezzling treasure. Again, guys, allegedly, okay? I need to stay protected here. Everything I say is, within the sphere of, I think, based on what I've seen and heard, allegedly, okay?
Entire livelihoods uprooted, causing some to be currently in struggling situations or even living out of their car. And a lot of them were obviously based in San Diego, California, so that's not exactly easy to recover from. No one knew what was going on behind the scenes at Intrepid. even the employees, much less content creators, your guild leader, or basically anyone that's not Steven or this newly revealed board.
Yep.
Furthermore, as one of the main content creators for this project, I just want to say that it truly sucks to have invested so much effort, money, and most of all my time into the copium that is this game that could have been something good one day.
And now you learned. That was an important lesson. And I know, it feels bad. You and many more such as yourself wanted to have a leg up on any other content creator by simping for a game that may exist in the future and may become the biggest MMO out there. And of course, you wanted to dip your toes inside of the water first because you wanted to have a leg up on people. You wanted to have an established fan base that already knows that you cover this game. You wanted to have that knowledge first for yourself. You wanted to have a base of fans that actually watches your stuff before anyone else uploads anything, and that's completely fine. I seen some comments that tell me like, oh, this was bad, simping for the game, trying to hope it exists and one day you can have an advantage over anyone else. This is the market. Guys, whether you like it or not, that's how you play the game. I tried to do the same thing with Deadlock back in the day, so I can't really blame him for trying to do so as well. It's fair, that's how we play it, it is what it is. It was actually a smart move. Now, what wasn't smart was not seeing the signs and ignoring obvious red flags. That was the problem. Because if you saw that the way I and so many others have, you would have rode the Ashes of Creation hate wave, which was way more beneficial. Believe me on that.
Although I and literally every other person who's made an Ashes of Creation video obviously couldn't have known about the things going on and was scammed just like the rest of you, I'm still sorry that I ever even shared my excitement for this project if it led to you being let down as well. I was very critical and leaving feedback, but like many, I was openly a huge fan of this project as well, and even though I covered multiple games, Ashes was the main one I'd say for the past 2 or 3 years. So I thought it'd be fun for us to take a look back together at all the allure that there was for this MMO with the power of hindsight. Also, context in this video should not be taken as legally factual, and all parties are innocent until proven guilty.
Of course.
Furthermore, this is compiled with secondary.
We don't want to paint Steven in a bad light because it may turn out that he was the hero all along. Of course. Yes, I agree.
There are resources already publicly available. Sorry, I had to mention all that for legal reasons because a lot of videos have been getting taken down or striked. Also, if you're new here, please consider subscribing for more videos like.
Again, now guys, do you understand why I'm doing this constantly? You get it now? It's the rules. It is what it is. If you want to be a player, you have to play the game, right?
This. And with that all out the way, let's begin. MMO Ashes of Creation was in development for about a decade and still holds the title for MMO to raise the most funds via Kickstarter platform. While
that was a lot of money.
unapologetically niche in its direction, this highly ambitious upcoming MMO RPG promised gamers everything that they didn't even know that they needed in a project. The amount of systems this game stated it would have is nearly infinite, from a religion system to naval combat, cross-settlement trading, your actions having a true impact on the open dynamic world with no instancing, open world PvP, VE, or PvX as it was touted, world bosses, a stock exchange, localized traders / auction houses, caravan system, guilds, non-faction based PvP, a game that stood up against the main character philosophy that's in pretty much every other game and told you that the world was the main character and you were likely just another nobody. Huge 250.
Damn, that's crazy. I didn't even remember so many broken promises. That's crazy. It's how much religion system. Now that he mentioned that, I actually remember Steven talking about this. This is, yeah, he even promised to have like religious nodes where you get like special stuff. I remember that now. It's crazy. It was so long. Wow. I mean, okay, I guess now that you watch this in retrospect, you do understand that the promises went so far and wide. No way they could have made it with the budget they had. It's impossible. Now I see that clearer now.
Versus 250 battles.
Way more clearly.
500 v 500 battles, as it was said at one point. That could result in the destruction of your town. And perhaps one of my favorite attractions to the game, the ever so elusive promise of 64 classes. And this is just a fraction of the system's.
To be fair, it wasn't actually 64 classes, and even Steven himself mentioned that back in the day. It was, you have one class, and then you have subclass, which you combine with other class. So if you're playing a warrior, for example, you play a warrior, but you can combine it with a mage as a secondary class, and it may affect your dashes or charges, whatever. It will turn them into a blink or something like that, but it won't change your class fundamentally. So yeah, that's, you know, the 64 classes argument doesn't really exist. It never have. You just need to understand what they were aiming for. But even that, like, it was just fake. So who cares?
Then promises of the game, and not even including that huge and massive map size that was said to eventually come. It didn't take Ashes of Creation shutting.
Guys, look at this map. It's real. It exists. Oh my god. Oh, beautiful. Beautiful. Surely nothing would turn sour.
Down to see a lot of mismanagement and wasted time occurring approaching a decade of development. I'm not going to go down the rabbit hole of why Ashes of Creation Apocalypse, a battle royale using the Ashes IP, was ever even made, but it was a huge time waste to developers, players, and investors. Or maybe even we can discuss Alpha Zero or Alpha 1 exists.
Yeah, so basically we watched a video a couple of days ago. I don't know if you guys remember that. And the Ashes of Creation Apocalypse was mentioned in that video by an Intrepid Studios former employee. And he said it was a huge waste of time that completely diverged from the main project. And essentially it just stopped the development for the actual game for 2 years. So yeah, it was dumb. And it was their attempt to try to cash in on the Battle Royale craze. Everyone knows that. I knew it back in the day. And it just garbage. Steven lied that it was fundamental. It was crucial to the fundamentals of the game because they actually solved a really huge bug inside of the game foundations. And he's glad they done that. Dude, what a load of crap. Like, who believes that? And nowadays you can 100% confirm that this was an actual lie. It's so cringe.
And at almost really no point, just needlessly there, just to end up scrapping all that minus some assets to do a complete reset and migration to Unreal Engine 5 for Alpha 2. There was a lot of wasted time as the development studio Intrepid continued to hire to the amount of over 200 employees eventually. However, even with these setbacks, there was two main reasons that I, and perhaps many of you, ever bought into or started following Ashes of Creation. One being creative director Steven Sharif promised no pay to win and was supposedly fully funding the project himself. And the other reason was the amazing pre-Alpha 2 monthly development live streams.
Oh no, he's gonna
So
get
let's
into
start
it.
with that whole fully funded claim, shall we?
Darius.
If you already heard
I can't even stand to look at this man. God damn it. Look at him, all giggly and happy. He knows what he did to us. Shame on him. Guys, that's crazy. Steven used to be the most likable personnel out there, and now nobody can stand looking at his face. Just so crazy how the tide shifted so quickly.
about this, type fully funded in the comments below. But a part of what made gamers trust this Kickstarter MMO from a CEO with no experience is not only the great vision for this game, but that he shared risk in its failure, you know? He claimed to have invested a ton of his own money into Intrepid Studios to fund it through completion. Over the years, potential players heard of him investing 30 million and even 50 million of his own dollars and to bet on himself so that you would want to bet on him too. It's already funded to completion. It's already fully funded. And, it didn't really age well, did it?
Only thing I care about is that when someone makes false and defamatory statements and it gets 100,000 plus views and then it gets 500,000 plus views and it demeans.
I'm kind of hiding him with my camera, but his Asmongold bald. Okay, I'll actually move myself so you guys can see. There we go. Ah, it's blinding. Oh god. Oh, the shine. No, the shine actually was pretty good today. I mean, not today, whenever it was recorded.
The character of myself or the 230 plus families that I care that are putting their hearts and souls into this game, of which I put over $55 million of my own money into the development of this game. Yeah. There has never been a dime or profit that's been taken from this company in 8 years.
Yeah, okay, so all of this is easily refutable, and I pray to God, and I'm pretty sure it will happen, this will be used against him in court. I really hope this would happen, because apparently he took money from investors way earlier into development. So, hey, you know what? Here's the clip. Use it in court. I'm sure Steven Lawyers is gonna have a blast figuring this one out.
Someone says that, it is utter, and pardon my
Well, it's
French
gonna
here,
piss
but it
you
is
off. It's bullshit.
it's
Yeah, sure.
it's
I get it.
complete fucking bullshit.
Jason claims that Steven never had anything to leverage, not really, in terms of owned assets, and that both Steven and his husband, John, may have never filed proper tax returns in addition to possibly embezzling over $500,000 annually from investments into Intrepid Studios for fueling their own lifestyle, such as procuring their mansion.
So despite
Wow.
consistent
Yeah, okay, that mention looks good. It can be taken away by the government, though, because you can mess with poor people all you want. You can never mess with the banks, because once you do that, it's over.
saying that there was no board of directors and that the game was fully funded to completion, it turns out, well, that was a fucking lie.
So that was a fucking lie.
It would later be revealed at the fall of Ashes of Creation that there was a board and many investors. Steven himself admitted this on Discord and in his own lawsuit recently. In fact, he allegedly didn't own a majority of his company after constantly asking for investors to give money, and then he was selling off his equity in the company, causing him to eventually lose controlling interest.
Which makes me just wonder, what in God's name were you thinking when you said all of that crap that turned out to be a lie? Did you really think that no one is going to sue you after that? Brother, they have so much evidence. They're probably not gonna even be a trial. They're just gonna be toast. I don't know. It's crazy to me that someone was so much, has done so much self-reporting. What are you doing? He dug himself his own hole in the ground. Now you just need to jump in. And that's it. It's not even a hole in the ground. It's a chasm. It's an abyss. What? How can you be this dumb? I don't get it. I truly don't. Did you really think it's not going to blow up in your face? There's so much evidence against you. It just... This rich people... How did he even get rich? Oh, right. The MLM stuff. Okay, yeah.
There's even allegations that Steven
By the way, for those who doesn't understand or know what MLM stands for, basically it means multi-level marketing, also known as a pyramid scheme.
never really invested much of his own money into the company. So one of the main reasons Steven was able to sell the community and his investors on was just a lie. Regardless if true or not, one thing we don't need from court rulings, lawsuits, discovery, or interviews to clarify is that Steven lied to his community about this constantly and deliberately. Even the employees had no idea about this mysterious board and investors until somewhat recently. And these were people who chose to put their trust into him and chose to help see his vision of Ashes of Creation come into fruition. They were completely blindsided.
The extent to which we were blind to all of this cannot be overstated. We have developers who could not make their rent and are living out of their cars right now. Families who have no insurance to pay for critical life-saving treatments and other medical expenses.
Guys, I gotta admit, this one is kind of weird, okay? You need to understand that as an adult, you have financial responsibilities. If after 1 week of not getting a paycheck, you end up sleeping in your car, you need to stop purchasing Labubus, okay? Stop that. I know, it's bad. The situation is dire for the developers. I understand that 100%. My heart goes through, towards them. But guys, let's be real here. You're an adult. You need to have some backup savings.
And once again, the reason this is important is that we were promised no board of directors with their hand in the pot. Just a rich gamer, uncompromised by a board.
Bro, he looks like a Bond villain in this one. What the hell?
With a dream to deliver the modern MMORPG that could drastically affect the genre. The intricacies of investors and Intrepid Studios was made even further transparent by Jason, an early investor into Ashes of Creation who did bombshell interviews with content creator Nephis. There were accounting spreadsheets, great detail given into the early days of Intrepid, its funding, and Even messages from Steven essentially begging for loans for Intrepid dating way back to 2017, way before I even started following Ashes of Creation, which I think was in about 2022. And I won't go into much detail about it here, but highly suggest you check out Nephis to hear the behind the scenes stuff from investor Jason and just listen to those unfiltered phone calls with him. Also, shout out to Nephis, Theory Forge, Kira, and everyone that has shined a light on this situation. I know a lot of people that wasn't even around the Ashes of Creation content space are now, giving it attention, and rightfully so, as it deserves it. I always wanted Ashes of Creation to be mainstream, but at what cost, right? But anyway.
Well, it is mainstream. It's mainstream drama, which some would argue is even better than actually having a game.
Now let's discuss the second thing that attracted myself and a lot of you to Ashes, the pre-Alpha 2 streams.
Ooh. Here it comes.
For a while, Intrepid did open development, and obviously I say that with air quotes, knowing what we know now, but we'll be referring to open development live streams from the UE5 showcase and forward. Following the upgrade to Unreal Engine 5, this truly looked like an amazing game. Once a month, the team at Intrepid Studio.
It looked like an assets showcase. It didn't look like a game whatsoever. It didn't resemble any of it. That's what it looked like. So I don't know what you're talking about when you're saying game here. I don't get it. It just looked like they were showing off some in-game assets that don't even belong to them. I mean, everything can be easily found in Unreal Engine 5. That's why I was so confused whenever the game finally released to Steam, and it was so bare bones. I've seen solo developer projects that were way better than this on Unity or Unreal Engine 4. So what are you doing with Unreal Engine 5 with a fully fledged developing crew that did nothing? I don't understand that. It never got to me.
Those would show off their impressive progress. The first one that grabbed my attention.
It wasn't impressive. It literally wasn't impressive. It was nothing at all. That's why I stopped. Like, you guys need to understand. I used to wait for the end of each month just to watch Steven talks about Ashes of Creation and showcasing what they've worked during this month. I waited for these videos more than anything. I would have watched, I remember I used to watch the entire stream. Like 3-4 hours, I didn't care. I watched all of it because I truly believed this game was going to be the best MMO out there. But after I started seeing the development was being stopped to a halt, that's when I started asking questions. And when I started to be ostracized by the Ashes of Creation community, I started to ask even more questions. And when I've seen big content creators simping for this game, even though it offered nothing, that's when I knew something was off.
And
by the way, I'm still waiting for that Lazy Peon video. Where the hell is it?
Caused me to start looking into the game was the Melee showcase in 4K back in June of 2022. I was super impressed with the visuals and the hybrid combat. It was tab, but had it.
Okay, then this one is on you, Chief. I'm sorry for pausing all the time. I have absolutely no idea how he was bedazzled by this. It was garbage. It was absolute dumpster fire. It was nothing to show for. Nothing. It was so bad. But maybe it's because I have a little bit more insight on how game development works. Not because I worked in the industry, but because I watched a lot of videos of people who works in the industry, because it's just interesting to me. I watched a lot of Unreal Engine guides, how to build stuff, so I kinda understand how stuff operates. Obviously, not close to even being developer or anything like that, but I watched a lot of people do it, so I know what they're capable of to a certain degree, and I've seen Ashes doesn't come even close to that. So yeah, that was what weird to me. But maybe the average person doesn't know that, so make sure to let me know what you think in the comments.
An action-like feel, and their action cam and their melee cleave, just all of it looked really good. There was then a stream showing off the desert that was totally real.
I remember that video
too.
There
was the ranged weapon showcase.
Bro, it's so basic you don't even understand. I bet one person can do this. One person on Unreal Engine 5 can do this. Easily. I've seen people make Souls-like game bosses in Unreal Engine 5 with like spare time, okay? Like, this is nothing. It's not impressive at all. I'm sorry. It sounds harsh, but go watch YouTube videos on how to create games. You would understand. You see it for yourself.
This one sealed the deal for me. Awesome skill design, lovely environment, Developer is a true gamer that totally doesn't pay people to play with him. Open and transparent development, great classes, planned, and yet insane visual fidelity and crisp graphics, just take my money now. And just like that, I purchased a pre-order pack for Ashes of Creation Alpha 2 at $250, which would end up
Goodbye 250 buckaroos. Just like that. And that's how you catch these people. You just appeal to their dream and you want to create a sphere where everything they want to hear is being echoed there, essentially just an giant echo chamber, and they keep gobbling this up. And what do you know? They even publicize your game for free. They give you free advertisement. That's insane. Man, Steven had it all, didn't he?
up not being playable until October of 2024. Honestly, a part of me almost wishes that Steven scanned me right there and then and, just ran off with the pre-order sales until, before the game was even playable. Maybe it would have hurt less, but hey, at least we got some fun out the game, right? This pre-order pack came with subscription time, access to all testing phases, and cash shop currency. Oh, and even some pre-order cosmetics, but more on that later. But anyways, these monthly live streams will continue to show a visual quality that didn't exactly match up with what we got on launch day, and the streams that caused a lot of people to even purchase this product, and things just didn't exactly match up with what we got our hands on, right? And this is something I was always critical about, whether that be the story arcs shown.
Bro, even the caravan system looked like trash. What is that? Like, how can anyone think that this is fun? It's not fun for anyone. Nobody likes that except Sweats from Lineage 2 and Arcade. Like, nobody else likes that. There's a reason for why these games crumbled. It's a fraction of a community. Nobody enjoys full loot PvP games. Nobody. And the one who do, they don't play MMORPGs. It does not belong there. You need to understand, whenever people want to play PvP, and I'm a huge PvP Andy, not in MMORPGs, I strictly play for PvE, but whenever I want to play PvP, I play like Counter-Strike. And if I want to do a more aggressive loot stuff, I can play Rust, right? I mean, I haven't played Rust personally, but a lot of people love this game, so I just gave it as an example. But you can play PUBG if you want it a little bit softer, which is a game I played a ton. So there is a game for any need players want. MMORPG gamers, they don't want PvP. They are there for the PvE. And it may sound weird for you if you like PvP, but that is the truth, okay? The PvP community of an MMO is a fraction of the PvE one. That's it. It's that simple.
Years ago, the events.
And if you want proof to that, go watch World of Warcraft PvP servers. Nobody plays them or they just one-sided. It's either strictly Horde or strictly Alliance. There's nowhere in between.
Caravan capabilities, or the most infamous example, the freehold system, which was just a complete exaggeration of what players would get. In fact, freeholds weren't even available phase 1, when the game was first playable. And when they did come, they had like zero functions of what we saw on stream, and then the developers just eventually took them out the game completely. Almost like they were embarrassed that they were even existing. However, Steven liked to excuse this by saying it was on the lower dev branch and it existed in some form, it just wasn't ready for player testing. While these streams were in-engine and may have existed in some form, these were vertical slices meant to showcase and advertise to players as well as get feedback, which was quite misleading to many, especially when you really break it down. It has even been confirmed by former developers of Intrepid that a lot of work went into faking or standing up these quote fake showcases. For me, when I watched these streams, I was under the impression that this would be the minimal amount of content that we would get once the Alpha 2 released, because...
And that's a classic pyramid scheme tactic, right? You show a product that on the surface looks incredible, but there's nothing behind it. There's no backing whatsoever, right? You just show whatever you want the other person to see, and it's just a facade. It's theatrics. So, I mean, it's a classic scheme. He actually managed to pull this in Ashes too? Damn, that's crazy. The MLM guy? Wow, impressive.
They were showing it. I believe that at worst, this was the progress that they had achieved, and that's what we were going to get. And if the game didn't come out for another year, this was at least what we were gonna have, but that was not the case. But what would end up happening is we would end up with a lot less than what they showed us even years ago for quite some time. For example, that story arc stream, yeah, that wasn't there ever. Like, that whole story arc was never there. And then when it came to Steam Early Access, the main selling point was this Harbingers thing, this Harbingers story arc, which was, now, all of this is not to say that what we got or the game overall wasn't fun. I personally had a lot of fun with the game.
It wasn't fun. I don't know how you had fun, brother, but nobody else has. Like, it was garbage.
Wouldn't have played or covered it if not. I have so many fun memories in this bare bones alpha/early access that I do not regret. While it turns out that Steven lied and misled us, there was a great team of developers who made something that, even in its barren alpha state, was enjoyable and good enough to make many of you stick around. And the game wasn't amazing at all, was grindy, missing systems as expected in an alpha, sometimes lacked visual impressiveness, and just had plenty of worthwhile complaints
Only
that
sometimes.
we've echoed plenty of times, whether it was something with the PvP systems, caravans, mules, or just bugs and glitches and just lacking content. But the promise of what the game would eventually be kept a lot of us foolishly clinging on. Fast forward to 2025, and Intrepid Studios announced it will be going to early access. We were told that this was just to produce more revenue and that the studio wasn't in financial trouble. However, we know now that this decision, it even caught most of the employees off guard and was secretly pushed by the board to do so, with disagreements by many, but Steven had to comply. He had no other choice. I did a video about the Steam announcement, and while I was paranoid and feeling that it wouldn't be a good idea, I also felt that there was some potential upside as well with reaching a new audience. And I was mainly glad that they finally dropped the price from over $100 finally. It never really felt good trying to recommend a game that was over $100. Like, no game should not be priced over $100, as I've said plenty of times on this channel, especially an unfinished game at that.
Damn, you should wait for the future. I heard GTA 6 is going to skyrocket. Yeah. Hey, it's coming. You know it. You know it.
However,
the first premium 100 doubloons game. It's going to be glorious.
like many, I felt the game wasn't exactly ready for Steam. Steven, whom I've interviewed multiple times, did a press run leading up to Steam, assuring us that everything was fine and they weren't running out of money. During this press run, I had the chance to interview him with fellow content creators. Remember the
Damn, that's a really nice house he has, right? That's crazy. Don't worry, guys. Everything okay. I never ran out of money. Oh, sorry. I mean we. We never ran out of money. By we, he means him and his husband. That's who he refers to when he says we. But, yeah, the company bled dry. Hemorrhaging. No, actually, it was already a corpse. He just kind of dragged its, body all over the mud, trying to keep faith with us until the very end.
pre-order pack that I purchased that came with cosmetics, well, I purchased that back in October of 2022. Think about this. Ashes, for every month over several years, has sold rotating monthly cosmetics. Your pre-order pack came with cosmetics for that specific month, and if you wanted cosmetics from another month, you paid for those separately and individually. These could be freehold skins, mount skins, caravan skins, character cosmetics, pets, and more. I personally had my cosmetics from the pre-order pack, of course, but I also purchased like a cape or something that came a different month. I was like, oh, I want that. I'll buy just that. And I think it was like $10 or something, but...
And that's the craziest part to me, because I saw that more gameplay updates have been swapped out for more art ones. So it kind of caught me off guard where, why do you showcase so much art but none of the gameplay? It didn't make any sense to me at the time.
While Intrepid delivered on a select few of these for people, they did not deliver close to, not even remotely close to all of them by a huge margin. And don't get me wrong, you guys, obviously I was blind to a lot of red flags while trying to be optimistic for this game, but even I found it sus that the game was coming to Steam Early Access and with a cosmetics cash shop. This cash shop was selling cosmetics to users whilst not ever even delivering on cosmetics that they sold to us nearly a decade earlier. Not only that, but the pre-order packs came with a cash shop currency to use on future cosmetics known as embers. So your pre-order pack essentially would have paid for future cosmetics that came up, right? Well, not only did we not get our cosmetics, which are essentially just NFTs at this point, right? But we also didn't get that cash shop currency that came in our pre-order packs to use for these new cosmetics that they were selling with the Steam launch. So no way to transmog your characters without paying.
Bro, what is the situation with Steven? Is he swapping out houses every video? Or he's just flexing with the same house all over again, and it's just different rooms each time? It drives me nuts how much money this man has. What the fuck? Dude, what is that? Every room has 10 different windows, a piano, like pictures, high ceilings, chandeliers, plants. What the hell? He lives in a mansion? Oh, dude, please, God, and you guys paid for it. You know what? I don't like you. Why have you done this to me? I just look at this and you know what? Hey, it's not me. I don't like these type of houses, but I just don't like it when scammy, fishy people, MLM dudes having them. Okay? That's what I'm trying to say here. But it's so funny. Like, what the hell is going on in the background? And geez, what the hell happened to Margaret here?
Us, players whom already put, over $250 in, still would have to fork out another $25 for a skin.
It goes to show, Vanny. Yeah, it goes to show this man hubris is so massive. Like, all of this extravagant stuff. And don't get me wrong, if you have the money, sure, do whatever you want. I'm not gonna tell you how to spend it. But at the same time, it does show on certain traits in your personality.
In the early access alpha. And trust me, I've seen plenty of these skins going around. People did not hesitate. And I know it's just cosmetics, right? But it's a sign of greed and desperation that would later make a lot more sense. I brought up this concern in my interview where Steven once again implied that he's funding Ashes himself. It's pretty much on the back of just one man. Intrepid has sold a lot of pre-order cosmetics over the years, some of which has already been delivered to players and will continue to be delivered in batches. With the cosmetics cash shopping coming, how would you address players concerned about Intrepid selling new character cosmetics before delivering on the previous one sold and not delivering on the pre-order shop currency yet?
Look, at the end of the day, we are trying to bring Ashes to life. And doing so on the back of just pre-orders and one-man shoulders is a difficult task. We are a company, and as much as I want to see this game come to fruition, and as
guys, you see this. Let me move myself for a second so you guys can watch. You know that Steven is not a true MMO lover like us, because look at all of these four guys right here, right? We have the obligatory MMO enjoyers. We have one dude with 30 frames per second camera in the dark just trying to make it. We have one guy trying to hide the fact that he's bald, one completely bald dude looking off to the distance, and one man searching for God. So yeah, these are true MMO players. But no, Steven looks way too clean. His house is way too cool to be an MMO gamer. Like, no roaches, no rats, no asbestos. I don't know. How did we even fall for his charm? Clearly, he's not truly passionate about MMOs like us. Like, yeah, I mean, I guess maybe we're at fault here at the end of the day, right?
much as I've invested in it, we should be taking advantage of those of us in the community who are willing to support this project for its vision, for the progress that we've made, an avenue to do so. That is good. It is healthy for the game. We want that to happen.
Like I said, red flags were everywhere, but there was no true bona fide way for any of us to know Ashes would end the way it did. And it's...
Guys, I have a random question. Sorry for pausing for that. But do you say bona fide or bona fide? I'm so tired. I don't know anymore, man. My English skills, I'm trying to learn from other people, And it turns to the worst because in English, for some reason, there's one word that everyone pronounces differently, and I don't know which one to choose. I have so many words like this. It just drives me nuts. I need to know the truth. Please tell me.
Downfall, a lot has come to light about Steven, and a lot of accusations are being sent his way. His lawsuit didn't allow him to win in the court of public opinion, and I doubt he'll ever be seen in good grace as far as his reputation goes, no matter what happens. There are more civil matters and
Yeah, it's like when people say either or either. I don't know. Like, I just had enough. I just use whatever.
some even alleging possible criminal matters. There's even messages he sent to Jason with very racist remarks about Chinese people that I won't put here, but he never even attempted to debunk that to my knowledge. Now this game, which held so much promise for many, will now just be a stain on the MMORPG genre. I feel this will affect future early access MMOs, MMO crowdfunding, and maybe early access games in general long term. As if the gaming industry wasn't going through enough disappointments, this took it a step further. You will find plenty of Reddit and Twitter posts from Steven sending sympathy to those in the gaming industry who had been laid off due to a studio or game closure. I'm sure it hurts him to know that he contributed to the industry turmoil and failed to prevent his employees from, becoming a part of that. I will perhaps forever think about what could have been had this project, bought maybe just like one more year's worth of time, and the vast open world of Vera with no instancing, the mythical technology of dynamic gridding, the sports fishing, the naval content, the ocean bosses that were to come, more dungeons, the biomes, the rest of the world, and just some good, great MMO combat. Really great combat in my opinion. And I will of course remember all the bots that flooded the game on Steam Early Access.
Well, if the game kept running for one more year with investors funding, the only thing you would have seen was Steven pay increase. That's it. Maybe he would have hired one more private chef. I heard that was a thing there. Or maybe his chocolate fountain guy would have actually made the fountain bigger. You don't really know that, but to see an improve of quality, I highly doubt that.
Forget that either. And we were so close to getting a 64 class system soon, and it really sucks that we were really close to getting it, but hey, I digress. And I know we all feel scammed, but I do feel there were hard-working developers that were working towards something good here, and while a lot of us may be filled with regret and feel you wasted your time, let's not forget the good times you had with the game. Even if you feel the game was crap in its current state, think about the good times you had, the guilds you joined, the people you met, the bosses you encountered.
Yes, Polar Guild. I heard they've spread so much goodness amongst the people. I heard everyone liked them. Am I wrong about that, guys? No. I heard the entire server was fun and playable because of them. I'll remember in those times. Yeah, I'm surely people will reminisce on that in the future.
Fights you won and the bugs that genuinely made you laugh out loud. I truly appreciate your continued support, taking a look back at the best game never. However, I am but just one MMO refugee, MMO homeless, and seeking my next adventure. Comment your thoughts on the Ashes situation or your best memory from playing. If you liked the video, please click the like button as it helps others to find it, and if you haven't done so, now's a good time to subscribe.
Damn. Okay, seems to be the end of the video though. Great video by Nice again. I mean, wait, there's something
to
else
all
here.
of our Patreon and YouTube channel members you see on
let's
screen.
go through it quickly.
Like support the channel, becoming a YouTube channel member is a great and consistent way to do so. Thank you so much for watching. It's been nice.
I've seen
Going into
Steven
this
here.
investigation, I actually expected to find
Oh!
way more games that I'd consider straight up scams. But now I think a lot of these projects were run by extremely passionate idiots. People with zero business sense and big dreams that weren't grounded in reality.
Okay, he said it in a different video, I think. But yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, I'm waiting for that Lazy Peon video. It's going to be so good. I'm 100% going to be watching this with you guys. But at the same time, I mean, for starters, kudos to Nice Gaming for actually waking up and understand where his faults were. And go really watch this video for yourself. I'm going to leave a link in the description. You guys can like this video and sub to this guy. He's truly phenomenal content creator. I actually enjoyed his videos a lot, and he always respected the other side, so I love that about him. Now, that being said about the video himself, great video. Great video, and he was right about those things. And watching this, it actually gives me some insight about how the Ashes of Creation defenders used to think like. So it's very interesting because I thought in my mind, nobody can look at this and think that this is good. That's why I stopped believing in the project. But apparently I was wrong. Many people looked at this and thought this was fine, or was even good. I remember looking at the melee combat video and it was so garbage and janky. I was like, that's what you were able to do? Is that your resolve? How strong it is? That all you've done by now is create this? I mean, through all the bad times, that's what you managed to pull through. It was weird. I didn't get it. I did not get it, but I guess now I understand that I may have been wrong. Many people thought otherwise. So that was actually pretty huge insight into like the Ashes of Defender's mind. Ashes of Creation Defender's mind. But at the same time, I'm glad they're waking up. I'm glad to see more and more people realizing that they were in the wrong. And we're getting vindicated, brother. This is our time. We lurked in the shadows. We waited for the day Ashes of Creation would crumble and we get to point fingers and laugh. Just enjoy the fireplace. And oh boy, I'm living the life right now. To be honest, I thought this day would come 5 years from now, but no. Christmas got in early. So yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, really good video.